when you're in Mad City and you're a criminal and you actually manage to kill a hero, they sometimes drop these crystals. These crystals then let you go on to be a villain, but the question is, are these villains actually that worth it? Let's find out. So the first thing we're going to be looking at to see if these villains are actually worth it is robbing. Now, if you're familiar with Mad City or any criminal versus cop game, you will know that the main objective for the criminals, or in this case the villains, is to actually go around and get money. And how do you get the money? You do robbing. There you go, rob. Basically, you just go into a building like this, as you can see on the screen. You go around, do a little simple obby, you get your money, you go out. So robbing the store sounds easy, right? Well, not when you're a villain. You see, here I'm a villain and we're about to try out the pyramid heist. Here we go, we're just going to go ahead and walk in. This guy's power is super speed, kind of more like super jump. It jumps a bit higher. And here we go. We're just going to try it out. The first stage is to just make it across these simple little jumps, which is pretty easy if you don't have the super speed. Of course, see, it messes you up. The speed messes you up. And it's not just the pyramid, it's basically all of them. This speed, these powers, they mess you up. And because this is like the main thing you gotta do, being a villain kind of makes it hard to actually play the game. See, we're going to try it out again in the jewelry store and see if it makes it easier or harder. So here we go, we're just running around, we're just going to hit these right here, we're just going to, oh, hang on, no, okay, cool, we're just going to take these. We're going to just make it through. I am taking a lot of damage. This is real, like, it's not hard, but it's real hard, especially in the pyramid where you got like loads of things you got to do. See, I almost died there. So basically, being a villain kind of makes it hard to do the one thing you've got to do to play the game. So far, becoming a villain isn't really that worth it, but we have a couple more tests that we're going to try out to see if this can change or if it's actually not worth it. So the second thing we're going to be trying out to see if the villains are actually worth it is fighting. Now, of course, fighting is another kind of big part to this game because, of course, if you want to stay alive as, well, any team, you've got to fight the opposite team. Now, here we have my other account here. He's level 41. He's pretty good. So what we're going to do is see how long it takes you to fight using, well, the normal guns that a criminal would use and the powers that you get by being a villain. This will determine if it's better to fight using like the powers or if it's just no, like, you don't really need them. So I'm going to start off by using the criminal weapon. So here, see, it's taking a long time. I mean, it didn't even take that long. It took about like 2 or 3 seconds, but let's see if this power can actually, well, we gotta wait for him, but let's see if this power actually like makes it easier to kill and more faster. Alright, here we go. So that took like 3 seconds. We're gonna try this. Okay, that took about 1 second. So it's definitely better to fight with the powers, because of course you've also got the other powers that make you like run and go invisible and stuff, so it's harder for them to fight you. Whilst if you're a criminal, you only get one gun, you can only run around like this, to be honest, and shoot and jump. But when you're with the powers, you got a lot more like move power thing. Yeah, you can go around faster. So basically, fighting makes it kind of worth it to be a villain, even though, keep in mind, you can't really do the main part of the game, which is rob, because you go too fast and run into the lasers. So fighting is worth it. If you want to do the robbing though, it's not really worth it being a villain. But let's go on to the final test. So now the final thing we're going to be testing out are the powers that these like villain suits give you themselves. So if we come on over here, we have 3 choices. We're going to be checking them all out anyway, even though we all know what they are anyway. So first of all, we have the Phantom, this green, coolish looking guy. We're going to be him. Now his power is this kind of like lightning strike. It's green. It's a green lightning strike. He can also fly, making this character actually pretty cool, because these like strikes actually do a lot of damage. I'm not entirely sure how like much. I think it's like 30 or 40 each strike, so they're actually pretty good. Also, he can fly around, making it like less easy for the other team to actually get him. So this hero is good, right? Let's move on to the next one. This is the Raven. We already know what this guy does. He like shoots out these, which are pretty cool, I guess. He can't fly, but he can turn invisible, even though the invisible it's not really that invisible. He's got this purple thing, which I think kind of ruins it. So he can also kind of super jump, But I'm not going to give this or the next two heroes a good or bad rating yet, because there's another couple of points I want to give to these guys in a minute. But next we have Raikou. Now this guy's basically the exact same as like the Raven over there, except he's a ninja. He can throw out these ninja stars, which are pretty cool, I guess. They're exactly the same as this one, which is alright. He can turn invisible and can jump quite high, but there is like one or two more points that make these villains not even that good, and that is, so when you go into a robbery, you get these masks, you also get bags. Now when you go invisible, the mask does go invisible, but the bag doesn't, making this particular power not even that good. Now I would just give it a one-off, but because like there's two of these guys that have the exact same invisible power, it kind of just doesn't make them worth it, because it's pretty obvious. If you see a floating bag just running down the stairs and you got like a hero or like a cop chasing after you, they'd know where you are. The whole point of this is so you can go invisible, they won't know where you are, you win the game. But here it's pretty obvious. There's like a straight up floating bag there, so are they really worth it? Not really. And now the final point that makes these powers pretty useless and not really worth being a villain is that you guys know how Hot Rod runs fast like these guys, but he manages to run on the water. You would have thought the same would go to these guys, but they don't run on water, so they're pretty useless. So now we've gone over everything there is to go over, we can finally see the results. Firstly, robbing. No, it's not worth it. If you're trying to get the villain to rob, it's not worth it at all, especially with the fast running ones. It's impossible to do. Fighting, however, is, yes, it's good. If you want these for fighting, then it will work. These things have got some really cool powers which will take out pretty much anything. So get them if you want. If you're using them for fighting, you might as well get them. But the powers themselves aren't really that good. Two of them are basically exactly the same, and basically the two of them are the ones that basically stop you from doing the thing that you need to be doing anyway, which is robbing. So that's why I put a cross there. But because there's two crosses, that means that the villains aren't really that worth it, unless you're just getting them for fighting, which they are. But because there's two crosses, they're not really that worth it. But that's my opinion anyway. So let me know if you have a different opinion, or if you agree with anything I said in this video. But that was today's video. If you enjoyed, smash that like button if you have not done so already. Subscribe if you have not done so already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.